Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're taking a closer look at one of the most shocking financial downfalls in 90-Day Fiancé history. Elizabeth and Andre Castrovet have always been known for their fiery personalities and family drama, but this time, the scandal is financial. After reportedly losing a staggering $75,000 in what appears to be an investment scam, fans are questioning whether their future together is built on shaky ground. Stay tuned, because we're diving deep into the details behind this financial disaster. Elizabeth and Andre have been fan favorites on 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? They built a reputation for hustle, real estate projects, side hustles, and dreams of financial independence. Elizabeth's family has always been involved in property management, while Andre wanted to prove himself as more than just the outsider from Moldova. Their dream? Build their own real estate empire. Microphone narrator tone. But with big dreams come big risks, and Andre's determination to step out of Elizabeth's father Chuck's shadow may have led them into dangerous territory. According to insiders, the couple poured $75,000 into what was promised as a safe and fast return investment. Reports suggest it was a scheme disguised as a real estate flipping program with overseas connections. The couple believed they were partnering with experienced investors who claimed to deliver guaranteed profits within months. Instead, the money vanished. No properties. No returns. No answers. Movie camera, dramatic music plus slow zoom. Andre was said to be furious, blaming shady contacts and accusing Elizabeth's family of not supporting him. Elizabeth, on the other hand, felt betrayed and questioned Andre's judgment for trusting strangers with such a huge amount. Elizabeth's family, especially her dad, Chuck, was reportedly furious. Chuck has warned Andre in the past about reckless financial decisions. Insiders say the loss of $75,000 has made the family more skeptical than ever about trusting Andre with business opportunities. Some family members even mocked him, saying this was exactly why they didn't want to partner with him. Microphone narrator voice. The Castrovet family feud, already legendary among fans, has now reached a whole new level with this devastating loss. Fans online have exploded with reactions. Some blame Andre for being arrogant. Others blame Elizabeth for not stepping in earlier. Many simply feel sad, saying the couple got caught in the kind of scam that happens far too often. On Reddit and Twitter, fans write things like, "Andre always thinks he knows best, and look what happened. $75,000 is no joke. That could ruin anyone's future. This could be the breaking point for their marriage." The financial loss could impact future storylines on 90-Day Fiancé. Rumors say Elizabeth might step back from risky projects, focusing on family stability instead. Andre, meanwhile, may try to redeem himself by doubling down on his work ethic, but can he recover trust from Elizabeth and her family? Bankruptcy whispers are spreading, with fans questioning whether they'll bounce back or spiral further down. Secret on 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? That caused his wife Elizabeth Libby Pothas to leave Moldova with their children. For most of the season, Libby and Andre haven't been on the same page about their desires. Andre is ready to move back to his home country and is hoping that a family trip to Moldova is exactly what his wife needs to be on board with his plan. Meanwhile, Libby is much more hesitant about the move and elicits opinions from her father and other 90-Day Fiancé alums like Loren Bravarnik and Yara Zaya to help her determine if she's making the right choice for her family. Unfortunately, the trip has been full of surprises, including a massive reveal that has Libby on the next flight to America, with their kids and without her husband. Shortly into their trip, the 90-Day Fiancé star reveals he made a bad investment and lost nearly $75,000 because of the Russian/Ukrainian war. After a huge family party, Andre gave his family the impression they were moving back to Moldova, but Libby was already upset that her husband wasn't being totally forthcoming. The situation got worse when he took her to a rental property to show her the progress. The progress was nowhere near expected, as for about 2 years his property sat untouched and Libby was irate. The dirty home was filled with materials and garbage and didn't look like it had been touched in months. "Why didn't you tell me?" she pleaded with him. "Keep me in the know." But Andrei simply didn't want to give her bad news that would stop her from considering Moldova as a place to raise their family. Her father, Chuck Pothist, tries to intervene, but Libby is clear. Andrei lied to her, and she couldn't trust him anymore. As a result, she changed her flight to leave with her dad and left her husband behind. To make the situation worse, this isn't the first time Andrei's made a bad investment or was a little foolish with the family's money. When the 90-Day Fiancé star first arrived in America, he wanted to be a truck driver. He went to school and even bought a truck, with the help of his father-in-law, Chuck. That business adventure didn't go far as he stayed home, playing games while his wife worked. A year or two later, Andrei changed professions, despite having no experience. He decided he was going to work in real estate like the rest of the Pothists. Only Andrei expected Chuck to pay $100,000 so he could get started, but this also meant he'd be in direct competition with his in-laws. Now, in present time, Andrei has another investment of nearly $100,000 that's gone to waste. However, what makes this situation the worst is that Andrei blindsided his wife. Libby was aware of the other investments, and while Andrei's concerns about his wife not wanting to move are understandable, this is clearly a manipulative move from the Moldovan native. Unfortunately, it seems highly unlikely that Andrei will be able to convince his wife to move abroad, especially since, once again, his family is suffering from another one of his bad investments. With his wife returning to America, Andrei is left explaining to his family what happened. This also means he has to own up to the half-truths he told his family as well. However, knowing Andrei, he'll likely spin this issue in his favor as he did with his other investments. Or maybe he'll ask his father-in-law for more help. Either way, though, it seems like the Moldovan star has bigger problems to solve throughout the rest of the season. The drama carried over into Season 8, Episode 7 of 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, which aired August 17, 2025, following the heated clash between Jasmine and Natalie at Dana's birthday party in the previous episode. This time, the focus shifted from the physical altercation to revelations about Gino giving conflicting accounts of his relationship status. When Michelle revealed that Gino had suggested to Natalie that a reconciliation with Jasmine was possible, Jasmine responded with anger, declaring. The continuation of the conflict from episode 6 began outside the birthday party for Gino's cousin Dana. Natalie decided to leave after the confrontation, telling Gino to just go and that she would talk to him another day. She added that she would get her own Uber. Natalie was left frustrated sitting on a bench because she could not find a car and only wanted to go home. Anthony attempted to convince Gino to return inside, telling him not to let Jasmine interfere with his time with family and suggesting they should at least try to have some fun. Gino declined, responding. Inside the party, Jasmine continued to process her reaction to Natalie's presence. Michelle confronted her about Gino's statements to Natalie, revealing. Jasmine responded directly to this revelation, explaining that Natalie came to the party believing he was already one step away from being divorced. Michelle confirmed that Natalie confronted Gino about it in front of everyone. In Jasmine's confessional, she expanded on this realization, stating, Dana and Michelle later reflected on the ongoing situation in a confessional. Michelle explained that it was hard being in the middle of Gino and Jasmine's drama and emphasized that Gino brought the situation upon himself through the way he treated the women. Dana added. Meanwhile, Matt voiced his concerns in a confessional. He explained that after living with Jasmine for months and hearing how Gino treated her, he was getting fed up. He underscored that regardless of whether Jasmine cheated or not, it did not justify Gino putting her out on the street. He also criticized Gino's approach to his marriage, stating in a confessional. Season 9, and they continue to chronicle their lives for fans around the globe. Elizabeth and Andrei have been a part of the 90-Day Fiancé universe since Season 5 of the flagship series. In 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? In Season 9, the couple is facing significant life changes as they try to decide whether to move from America to Andrei's home country of Moldova. The debate has caused arguments between Elizabeth and Andrei. There's also the investment property drama, more on that below. Given that the TLC series films months in advance, are Elizabeth and Andrei still together today? Swan is breaking down their relationship status and where things stand between them on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9. Yes, Elizabeth and Andrei are still together. Despite the drama on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, they remain dedicated to their marriage to this day. Viewers of 90 Day Fiancé have criticized the couple's relationship, especially after learning that he invested $75,000 in an investment property. Elizabeth addressed the haters in video she posted on August 11th. On 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Elizabeth and Andrei travel to Moldova to look at homes. Elizabeth has been hesitant about going all in on the move to Moldova. "I've been very clear that we are not moving here just yet. That hasn't been a decision that we made together as a married couple," Elizabeth said in the August 10th episode. The couple argued about the move, with Andrei set on living in Moldova. When Elizabeth's dad arrived, Andrei revealed to Chuck that he's put $75,000 into an investment property. Chuck was stunned. "I knew about it, but I didn't know the extent of the details," Elizabeth admitted. Andrei claimed that he's a silent partner. The couple, along with Chuck, looked at places in Moldova, and their search got off to a good start. "I could definitely see us living in a place like that," Elizabeth told Andrei. However, a preview for the August 17th episode hinted at more tension for the couple. "You lied to me. You withheld that information from me," an upset Elizabeth said to Andrei. Chuck chimed in, "She wants you to assure her that you have a solution." Elizabeth also said, "I'm most concerned that he lied. Now I don't really trust you." In another sneak peek, Elizabeth was seen packing to leave Moldova unexpectedly. The bad investment is one thing, but on top of that, to cover his tracks and to lie, that's like another F***king level of betrayal, Elizabeth admitted. She continued, "That is not the man that I married, and that is not what I signed up for. There's absolutely no reason for us to stay here." When Andrei walked into the room, she told him that she was leaving with the kids and her dad with or without him. Elizabeth and Andrei first met on a dating app. They came face to face for the first time in Dublin, Ireland. Elizabeth was there on a solo trip, and Andrei had just moved there for a job. They got engaged and married in October 2017 in the United States. They later had a second wedding in Moldova so Andrei's family could attend. The 90-day couple has 2 children. Their first child, daughter Eleanor, was born in January 2019. They welcomed their son, Winston, in October 2022. Sadly, the heartbreaking news is here. David has passed away at the age of 66. This shocking update has shaken the entire TLC and 90 Day Fiancé community. But instead of just mourning, today we will celebrate his life, his humor, his determination, and the unforgettable moments that made him a fan favorite. David was from Nevada, a computer programmer by profession, and a true tech geek. He loved spending time on his computer and eventually, on online dating apps. That's where he met Lana, the woman who would define his story on 90 Day Fiancé. And here begins the legendary tale. For 7 years, David chased after Lana. He spent thousands of dollars, flew to Ukraine multiple times, and every time, Lana never showed up. Imagine this, David standing outside a cafe in Ukraine, holding flowers, dressed in a suit, cameras rolling, and Lana nowhere to be found. Fans watching from home would say, "This isn't a romance. This is a Netflix thriller, faced with tears of joy." But David's patience was legendary. People on social media joked, When Uber drivers can't show up on time, David still waited 7 years for Lana. Finally, after all those failed attempts, after 7 long years, Lana finally showed up. She appeared on camera, smiling, and for fans, it felt unreal. One fan wrote, "This isn't real. She's not human. She's a plot twist." Another joked, "Now I believe in ghosts, because Lana just appeared on TLC." David didn't give up. He proposed to Lana, offered her a ring, and fans were left speechless. Even though their relationship didn't last, fans still said, "David may have lost in love, but he won in determination." Soon after, countless memes flooded the internet. One popular meme said, "When David says Lana is coming, it feels like Thanos arriving in Avengers." Unbelievable, but somehow real, faced with tears of joy. Now that he's gone, fans are brokenhearted. Social media is full of tributes. "David wasn't just a TV star, he was like family to us." Another wrote, "Maybe David finally has Wi-Fi in heaven," still messaging Lana. David's story was more than comedy. It taught us lessons. Age is never a barrier in love. Never give up, even if the world laughs at you. Love is about patience, hope, and sometimes, a little foolishness. His humor, his innocence, and his endless patience made him immortal in the 90-Day Fiancé universe. Now let's add some humor as David himself would have loved. If patience was an Olympic sport, David would win the gold medal every year. If companies hired him as a waiting manager, they'd never lose money. Fans joked, if David can wait 7 years for Lana, he can wait 2 hours at a train station without complaining. Imagine if David were alive today, he'd probably be on some new AI dating app, texting Lana's avatar, saying, "Don't ghost me this time, I turned on GPS." In the face of growing strain over their religious differences, Adnan's pleas take on a new level of intensity when he speaks to his pregnant wife, Tigerlily, on 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? As the birth of their child approaches, Adnan makes a sincere, intense appeal, stressing the importance of her potentially accepting Islam. Adnan implores Tigerlily. The central conflict is depicted in this scene. Adnan maintains that their family's unity depends on her accepting his beliefs. At the same time, concerns regarding autonomy, timing, and cultural expectations are brought up by the emphasis on her faith conversion prior to childbirth. Within the confines of reality TV drama, this plotline not only touches on personal husband-wife dynamics but also raises concerns about identity, control, and what it means to combine multiple religious beliefs under one roof. As he struggles with the impending birth of his child and the part religion will play in their future, Adnan's plea on 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Feels more urgent. He expresses genuine worry over their child's upbringing in a single tearful moment. He says to his wife on this declaration exposes the importance he places on spiritual continuity in addition to unfulfilled expectations. Adnan's concern stems from his strong conviction that their family's identity should be centered on their faith rather than control. His remarks highlight how the issue of who shapes my child's spiritual journey becomes. The series depicts Adnan's attempts to guide his child's religious path, but it also teases deeper worries, such as those related to mortality and uncertainty, through another confession. In a moving plea, the emphasis here is on legacy rather than philosophy. Adnan is considering the potential that his absence would leave their child without a spiritual foundation. Thus, he is not just suggesting religious alignment. In addition to highlighting the emotional complexity that arises when faith, family, and reality combine on reality TV, it also exposes his vulnerability as a parent, divided between hope and fear. When Rob and Sophie first met on social media, the attraction was immediate. It wasn't long before they saw each other in person and decided to make their relationship official. Rob comes from a humble background, while Sophie has enjoyed the finer things in life. When she comes to the US on a K-1 visa to be with Rob, things don't exactly go as planned when Sophie sees that the conditions she's going to be living in with Rob are far from the idyllic Los Angeles life she'd imagined for herself. Rob said in a confessional that appearances matter to him, which is why he was so attracted to her in the first place. I do care about looks. I care about both looks and personality. But I care a lot about looks too. I feel like I'm a good-looking guy, so people can kiss my ass on me being shallow and wanting a good-looking girl, but I'm gonna keep it real, he said. I wanted a fine-ass woman, and Sophie is the hottest person I've been with, and that's what I've been looking for. Rob's past was filled with infidelity allegations, and it seemed to clearly split the two. He was seen filming for another 90-day spin-off 90 Day House in Mexico, where he allegedly got into a relationship with Jennifer Tarazan, according to Shaboot. 90 Day Fiancé shook things up in Season 11 with the addition of the show's first-ever thripple, but the group's progress toward the altar has been anything but steady. Matt and Imani Jalassi are a married couple who live in San Diego, California. They share 2 children and have been together for 10 years. The dynamics between the couple are complex, with Matt appearing rather submissive to Imani, a self-proclaimed boss bee *tch. Imani, who is bisexual, had a very conservative upbringing in Tunisia, which makes her passionate about speaking her truth now that she has the freedom to do so. Matt and Imani's marriage became exponentially more complicated with the addition of girlfriend Eni Aguirre, a stripper they met while on vacation in Mexico. Although the throuple had a passionate romance, their relationship was primarily long-distance, which meant Matt and Imani were oblivious to many aspects of Eni's life. They traveled to Tijuana to be with Eni in the hopes that she would soon officially join their family. However, their trip didn't go as expected. Despite Imani appearing as the driving force behind their polyamorous relationship, her insecurity and doubts about Eni's loyalty have derailed all their progress. While Matt and Imani spoke excitedly about adding Eni to their family prior to their trip to Mexico, they were in for a rude awakening. It became painfully clear that the trio hadn't discussed boundaries that would make them each feel secure. Their first night together ended with Imani seething with jealousy, and the pattern of miscommunication and distrust continued throughout their time on 90 Day Fiancé. More signs of trouble emerged as Matt and Imani realized how little they knew about Eni's life. Their concerns about Eni's secretive behavior led them to seek out a clandestine meeting with Eni's ex, during which they realized they didn't even know her real name or marital status. Furthermore, Eni had hidden her polyamorous relationship from her family, afraid that her religious loved ones would judge her. Matt and Imani's constant distrust of Eni is a huge red flag, and it proves to me that the throuple is nowhere near ready for marriage. While Matt and Imani presented themselves as ready to walk down the aisle with Eni, they seemed to back down from their commitment as their 90 Day Fiancé season progressed. At this point, as the rest of the cast are preparing for their marriage ceremonies, Matt and Imani seem unsure whether they even want to be in a relationship with Eni. Eni's only path into the United States is through marriage. The fact that Matt and Imani are already married adds an extra layer of complication to their K-1 visa application process. Matt and Imani will need to legally divorce for one of them to marry Eni and bring her to the United States. Their friends were dumbfounded by their plan, and I can't say I disagree. Matt and Imani's time in Mexico has been rife with jealousy over their roles as they integrate Eni into their relationship. Eni admitted she was more interested in Imani than Matt, and Imani was unsure whether to tell her husband. Her hesitation didn't help the complicated dynamics within the group. Matt started to feel like an outsider, leading Imani to awkwardly push Matt and Eni to go on a date to strengthen their bond. Eni now has to choose which partner to marry. This will unquestionably reignite the feelings of jealousy, and I don't see how the throuple will survive. Their relationship has been on shaky ground all season, and the shifting dynamics of a divorce and new marriage, with one spouse left out, seem insurmountable. At this point in the season, Matt, Imani, and Eni should be finalizing wedding details, not approaching the subject of the divorce. They seem totally out of place compared to the rest of the 90 Day Fiancé cast. The throuple would have been better suited for before the 90 days, which documents the time leading up to the K-1 visa application. I'm baffled as to why they were cast in a series that's supposed to be about the small window prior to marriage. Regardless of my concerns about Matt, Amani, and Eni, I still hope their relationship can succeed. They deserve happiness, but it seems the odds are truly stacked against them. There's no way their many conflicts will be resolved by the end of 90 Day Fiancé Season 11, which suggests to me the marriage will never happen. Viewers of 90 Day Fiancé have witnessed Julia Trebkina go beyond her relationship status with Brandon Gibbs to become well known for her commitment to fitness and wellness. Following her relocation to America, Julia struggled with stress, a busy lifestyle, and weight changes. To regain her body and confidence, she resorted to bodybuilding, yoga, and disciplined habits. Julia admits the weight she gained while filming didn't come straight off with conventional exercises, but incorporating one yoga session a week helped to reset her system, which is when things really started to improve. For example, she detailed a basic yet beneficial pre-show routine that she utilized as a former competitive bodybuilder: eating smaller and more frequent meals, increased hydration, increased activity level, and diminishing doing what you love. Despite attempting more conventional types of exercise, such as jogging with the dogs or working on the farm, Julia was not experiencing any improvements. Stress, hormonal imbalance, interrupted routines, and extensive travel while filming 90 Day Fiancé, happily ever after were the reasons she attributed to her weight gain, as mentioned in the caption of her May 2021 Instagram post. Despite her advantage from her bodybuilding background, 90 Day Fiancé's Julia stresses that true fitness is based on easy, long-lasting habits. She is also returning to competitive fitness, stating that being able to cycle alongside trainers and her partner has improved her motivation and attitude. Fans were urged to watch Julia's progress since it helped her feel better again. Julia Trebkina will soon be the newest 90 Day Fiancé season to hit our screens. The Other Way is one of the franchise's most unique spin-offs. While the majority of 90 Day Fiancé shows focus on international individuals moving to America, The Other Way does the opposite. The series follows Americans who decide to move across the world for love. This often results in culture shock, conflicting feelings, and of course, drama. 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way Season 7 will be here before we know it. Here's everything you need to know about the new season's cast, release date, and more. The Other Way Season 7 will feature returning faces as well as 4 new couples. Jenny Slatan and Sumit Singh will be returning this season for their 4th season of spin-off. After overcoming numerous obstacles in their relationship, Jenny and Sumit got married during The Other Way Season 3. The couple is currently living together in India, where Jenny has permanently moved. Luke Berry and Madeleine Perez will also be returning this season, following their time on 90 Day, Love in Paradise Season 4. Luke has finally decided to move to Colombia permanently, after meeting Madeleine on vacation there. The first new couple that will be featured this season is Greta and Matthew. Greta lives in Oklahoma but is making a big move to England to be with Matthew. The couple connected on a vegan dating app and grew to become inseparable from each other. The next new couple will be Anthony and Manon. Anthony will be moving to his wife Manon's home country of France. After living in America, the couple has decided to head to France with their toddler to save their marriage. Patia and Dylan are another new couple this season, from Texas and Tasmania, respectively. After a decade-long relationship, Patia has decided to pack up her life in America to join Dylan in Tasmania. Finally, Chloe and Johnny will also be introduced for the first time in the upcoming season. Chloe will be leaving her home in Boston to move to Aruba for Johnny. She's leaving a 6-figure job behind in America, and hopes that her sacrifice will be well worth it. The Other Way Season 7 will premiere on Monday, September 8th at 8/7 p.m. While 90 Day Fiancé shows have historically aired on Sundays, The Other Way has been released on Mondays for the last few years. While all of the couples will likely not be included in the premiere, they should all be introduced by the end of the month. The Other Way Season 7 will be available to watch live on TLC. For viewers who are unable to watch live episodes, they will be available to stream on Discovery+. Typically, TLC releases new episodes of The Other Way on the same night they air. However, it's also possible that new episodes of The Other Way Season 7 won't be available to stream until the next day. The trailer for The Other Way Season 7 is already promising a drama-filled season. One of the main conflicts shown in the trailer is Jenny and Sumit's current financial troubles. The issues have led the couple to move in with Sumit's parents, which Jenny isn't exactly thrilled about. Over in Colombia, Madeleine is shown throwing a cake at Luke following a heated argument. In terms of the newer couples, Chloe is shown having some major trust issues with Johnny. Since he works on a boat with lots of women, it's easy for Chloe to feel insecure. When she expresses her feelings to him, however, he isn't very understanding. Across the ocean in France, Anthony and Manon are seen struggling to adjust to their new European lifestyle. If things don't work out for the couple in France, they're worried it will mean the end of their marriage. For those who may not know, Pedro Jimeno first appeared on 90 Day Fiancé when he married Chantal Everett. Their love story, full of ups and downs, became one of the most dramatic arcs in the entire franchise. The couple eventually starred in their own spin-off, The Family Chantal, which highlighted not only their marriage struggles but also the never-ending tension between Chantal's family and Pedro's own relatives in the Dominican Republic. Things finally came crashing down when Pedro filed for divorce in 2022, citing irreconcilable differences. Fans accused him of using Chantal for a green card, while others defended him, saying the toxic family drama on both sides made their marriage impossible. Since then, Pedro has been focusing on his career as a real estate agent in Atlanta. But recently, fans have noticed he's been traveling more often, and this latest trip overseas is sparking headlines. So, what exactly happened? According to fan reports, Pedro was spotted at an international airport last week, heading overseas. Not long after, social media photos began circulating showing Pedro dining at a restaurant and walking around with a woman who has not been identified publicly. The mystery woman appeared close to Pedro. Some witnesses claim they were holding hands at one point, while others argue it looked more like a friendly outing. What we do know is that Pedro looked relaxed, smiling, and seemingly enjoying himself, which has fans questioning, is this Pedro's new girlfriend? Fans wasted no time jumping onto Reddit, Instagram, and Facebook to share their theories. One fan wrote, "Pedro moved on so fast. Chantal deserves better." Another commented, "He looks happy, maybe this is finally a relationship without family drama." And of course, some fans speculated about Pedro's intentions, suggesting that he might be dating someone overseas for personal gain. Interestingly, others pointed out that Pedro has been very quiet about his personal life since the divorce, so the fact that he's seen with a woman publicly could mean he's finally ready to move on and not hide it anymore. Now, the million-dollar question, who is this woman? Some fans believe she could be a fellow real estate professional, since Pedro has been attending business seminars abroad. Others think she might be a new romantic interest, possibly someone he met during his travels. So far, the woman's identity hasn't been confirmed, and Pedro hasn't made any official statements. However, the pictures circulating show that they appeared comfortable with each other, and that's enough to spark plenty of rumors. Pedro himself has not directly addressed the photos. On Instagram, he's posted travel shots of food, scenery, and architecture, but he hasn't shared any selfies with the mystery woman. This silence is typical for Pedro, who in recent years has kept his love life very private. Still, his decision not to clear up the rumors is only fueling more speculation. Naturally, fans are also wondering how Chantal feels about all of this. Since their divorce, Chantal has been focusing on her own career as a nurse and recently shared that she's open to dating again. If Pedro is indeed seeing someone new, it may not come as a huge surprise to her. But considering the couple's messy breakup, it's possible that seeing Pedro publicly with another woman could stir up old wounds. Fans of The Family Chantal know just how emotional Chantal was about Pedro moving on. Another angle fans are debating: could Pedro's new relationship, if confirmed, mean a return to 90 Day Fiancé or even another spin-off? TLC has a history of bringing back stars who enter new relationships, especially if the storyline has drama. If Pedro does have a new girlfriend overseas, it's not impossible that cameras could start rolling again. Imagine Pedro on 90 Day Fiancé, the single life. That's something fans would definitely tune in for. So, here's what we know: Pedro Jimeno has been spotted overseas with a mystery woman. The photos suggest they are close, but nothing is officially confirmed. Fans are divided: some think it's just business, others believe it's love. What's certain is that Pedro continues to spark curiosity, even years after his first appearance on 90 Day Fiancé. His overseas adventures and possible new romance are keeping fans talking, and we'll keep watching to see what happens next. Eric Rosenbrook, a U.S. veteran from Wisconsin, met Leida, a medical school graduate from Indonesia, online. Their relationship moved quickly, and Eric traveled overseas to meet Leida and her son, Alice. When they joined 90 Day Fiancé Season 6, fans immediately noticed their cultural differences and clashing personalities. Leida came from a wealthy background, while Eric lived a more modest lifestyle in America. The couple's story quickly turned dramatic. Arguments about money, parenting, and lifestyle became central to their storyline. And viewers had strong opinions about Leida, often labeling her as controlling, demanding, and dismissive of Eric's children from his first marriage. Leida's time on the show became one of the most controversial in franchise history. One of the biggest scandals involved Leida demanding that Eric cut ties with his daughter, Tasha. Viewers were shocked when Eric seemed to side with Leida and told his daughter she could no longer live with them. Fans flooded social media with criticism, calling the couple toxic and accusing Eric of choosing Leida over his own family. Things got even darker when Leida revealed that she had been receiving online threats and harassment after the show aired. At one point, she admitted that she feared for her safety because of the backlash. TLC eventually had to step in, and both Eric and Leida requested privacy. Despite the backlash, Eric and Leida went through with their marriage in 2018. Their relationship, however, didn't exactly look picture perfect. On social media, fans noticed that Eric often appeared stressed, while Leida continued to clash with members of his family. Rumors of separation floated around more than once, with fans speculating that their marriage was hanging by a thread. But surprisingly, through all of the chaos, the couple continued to defend each other publicly. Eric frequently posted about supporting Leida, saying that people didn't really know the full story. So, the big question: are Leida and Eric still together in 2025? The answer is yes. Despite all odds, the couple is still married. Over the years, they've kept a relatively low profile, avoiding the spotlight compared to other franchise stars. They don't appear on spin-offs, and they rarely grant interviews. Leida occasionally posts lifestyle updates on social media, focusing on her career, her son, and life with Eric. The couple has made it clear they prefer to live privately after the backlash they endured. While they're not everyone's favorite couple, they've managed to keep their marriage intact, something many 90 Day Fiancé couples can't say. Fans are divided about Eric and Leida's lasting marriage. Some say they are proof that love can survive even the harshest criticism. Others argue that their relationship is still unhealthy, pointing back to their treatment of Eric's children. Reddit threads about them are full of strong opinions, with many viewers still calling them one of the most disliked couples in franchise history. And yet, here they are, still together, years later. If there's one thing Eric and Leida's relationship shows, it's that reality TV doesn't always tell the whole truth. Fans only saw a portion of their lives, heavily edited for drama. While Leida was portrayed as a villain on screen, she insists she was misunderstood and unfairly edited. Eric, for his part, has defended his wife, saying that despite the chaos, they've built a real partnership. Their story is a reminder that sometimes couples who seem doomed on TV manage to make it work in real life. As of now, Eric and Leida don't seem interested in returning to 90 Day Fiancé. They've chosen a quieter life in Wisconsin, focusing on raising Leida's son, building careers, and staying away from the spotlight. That said, fans occasionally spot them online, and every time they appear, it sparks new debates about whether their marriage is strong or fragile. But from all available updates, it looks like they're doing their best to keep things stable. So, are Eric and Leida still together? Yes. Against all odds, despite the drama, despite the criticism, despite the backlash, they've managed to stay married. They may not be fan favorites, but they've built a life together that works for them. The real question is, does their survival as a couple mean the franchise misunderstood them? Or does it just mean they've learned how to deal with the negativity and move forward together? Whatever the case, Eric and Leida remain one of the most unforgettable couples in 90 Day Fiancé history. That's all for today's deep dive into Eric and Leida's relationship. What do you think? Are they truly in love, or just stubbornly holding on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more 90 Day Fiancé updates and deep dives into your favorite couples. Thanks for watching.